What's going on, everybody? We're the Generational Wealth Group, and thank you for joining us on this live webinar. If you clicked on this link, it's because you are wanting to create generational wealth, not only for yourself, but your family and also generations to come down the line. So I am your host, Ariel Sanchez. I'm a local real estate agent with Compass Real Estate, and these are my colleagues. I will let them introduce themselves.
My name is Gerardo. I've been doing mortgage lending for 8 years. And during that time, I had the chance to help a lot of people build generational wealth, not just through buying their own first home, but buying a subsequent second home, third home, and some of them are even investors at this point. Myself personally, I had the chance to also participate in a few flips and also a few rentals. And I'm super excited to be able to share this wealth of knowledge with everybody that's going to be listening to this.
Fantastic. My name is Angela Correa. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, and I have been working in real estate for almost 15 years now. My background includes investments and flips and working with buyers and sellers and helping people, like Gerardo said, get into investment properties. Also coach. So we're here to help you learn about generational wealth and how you can build your own net worth. Build your own net worth in your portfolio.
Awesome. So it's great to have you guys here. How about let's get started with some questions there. So the first one, how can I begin building a portfolio of rental properties to create a steady stream of passive income?
I think that the first thing that you need to do is get educated. And it's so easy to do nowadays. There's internet, there's videos, there's a bunch of articles that you could take advantage of. But if you really want a custom experience and you really want to take the first step to buying that first home or subsequent home, is that you need to make sure that you speak to a professional that's trusted and has experience doing what you want to end up doing, which is buying your first home, buying your second one, and at the end of the day, investing your money. What do you think, Angela?
Absolutely, I agree. And working with trusted professionals is a high necessity. I mean, you might know someone who knows somebody who has worked in real estate, but really ask the questions. How many houses have they sold? How long have they been in the industry? What is their knowledge in regards to investment type properties? So making sure you're not just working with somebody because your friend knows them or they're your family member. Make sure that you actually are working with a professional who's been in the industry for a very long time.
You don't want to be the guinea pig in this.
No, you don't.
Of course. Awesome.
You don't want somebody playing with your money.
Yeah.
Awesome. And speaking of professionalism, how can I determine the best markets for real estate investment and able to identify the profitable markets there?
I think that the best way you can identify the right market for you is talking, again, to a professional, talking to somebody like Ariel, Angela, who are in the real estate market and are looking at it and experiencing it every single day. Now, with me, you can reach out to me. I will talk to you about, hey, what are interest rates like right now? What are we looking at in the financial landscape of, will prices go up or down depending on financing available to buyers and sellers? All of this information is going to be available to you free just by reaching out to one of us.
Exactly, and we have been the guinea pigs. We've done all the, I want to say, investing and maybe losing some money and learning from that and moving forward. And in regards to finding like the best location, it really depends on what your goals are. So with talking with myself or with Ariel, we can help you discover what neighborhoods to maybe buy a property that could be a rental or any of the above. So it just really depends on what you're looking for and what your end goals are.
Awesome. Those are some great answers there. So that leads us to our next question. And based on your expertise as well, what are the most effective strategies for building generational wealth through the real estate investment?
I think that at the end of the day, you want to build generational wealth through keeping assets and benefiting from their cash flow. That's actually what helps you generate generational wealth, because it allows you to create income while you're sleeping and pass this income on through to your son, your grandson, your great son in the future. That way you guys keep hold of this property as it gains value and you profit from it in the short term every single month when you're getting rental income from it. Or if you're leasing it out to, I don't know, if it's commercial, to an office, to a business. Now, I will say that at the beginning, it is going to be a balancing act between what you hold and what you end up flipping, because not everything is meant to be held long term. What do you think about that, Angela?
I agree, and that's really why we came up with putting this webinar together for you all. Each of us have our own family history and thinking about the future. Our parents, for example, Do your parents have 401k?
I think one of us is 401k.
How about you, Ariel?
I did have a 401k.
Not
but
you,
once-
your
No,
parents.
your parents.
My parents? No, they do not.
The
They're-
401k is you, me, you. We're the 401k. So if you think about it, you're the turning point for your family in regards to making sure that you aren't just working to work and then sending the money to wherever it needs to go, similarly to as our parents have done. So again, that's why we put this webinar together, was to not only help ourselves and to find more education for ourselves to build that for our parents, but we know that there's a lot of folks out there just like us, you guys out there, that are doing the same.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we have to remember that, who our parents are, who were our first generation immigrants that came here, right? They got on a boat, they jumped the border, they snuck in through the most secure border in the world, which is the United States border, and were able to come here and build a family and give us an education that we couldn't get in our own countries.
Absolutely
You know? And we have to remember that they were able to do all of this. So flipping a house or buying a home for them, it's honestly small potatoes compared to what they already did in their lifetime.
Awesome. Those are awesome questions. Those are awesome answers. And as we all know, the name of the game in regards to investing and working with capital gains are taxes. They're inevitable, right? So the next question right now is, what are the tax benefits for real estate investment and how can we optimize on them?
Let's start out with, we are not tax advisors. We are giving you this information from our background, from things that we have done and our advisors have told us. So we're going to share that information with you right now.
And I think it depends a lot on your situation. If you are already a business owner, if you are only getting all your income from your job, which is only W-2, it's going to depend a lot on where you're at in that journey, I would say, on how you're going to treat your taxes. Now, having real estate gives you benefits on both sides of them. One, you can go ahead and deduct your expenses for having a rental, for doing your repairs. And at the end of the day, even though you're holding onto that property and you're increasing its value, you can claim that and deduct that from your actual income. So let's say that on the real estate side, you come out after all your cash flow and everything and you lose a little bit of money. But remember, you're investing it into your property, so technically you're not losing money. But at the end of the day, on your taxes, though, it'll look that way, and you'll also be able to reduce that from your actual income, since you're taxed on your income as a whole, not as separate entities.
Yeah, I agree. And then, we all want to make money, but if you talk about it, like Gerardo said, it's a long-term goal. So if you have to put a new roof or something along those lines, that year you might look like you lost money, but in the long term, someone else is paying your mortgage for you. Just like right now, if you're a renter, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. They might have to put a roof on, but in all reality, you probably paid for that roof too.
Yeah, a few times over.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we're looking to do as well. Once we invest into a property, we're not only trying to hold it for ourselves, but for our kids and also our grandkids. So how can I, as an investor, protect my assets and minimize risk when investing in real estate?
The number one way that I've heard from my clients and different advisors that I've worked with is putting your assets into a trust. It'll really depend on what your long-term goals are, but putting your properties into a trust makes sure that those are protected from future, let's say, lawsuits or something along those lines. I'm not an attorney nor a tax advisor, just giving you the information that our advisors have shared with us.
And I think it just gets back down to the same thing. You got to educate yourself and educate yourself on all the options available to you and your family. And that is going through a trusted professional who's done it, who's been in the game, and who could give you that advice that you need for your family. Now, I do believe that educating our future generations is going to be the main factor in making sure that your generational wealth goes past that first generation. Because what happens most of the time is if your son, your grandson, is not educated on how to protect that generational wealth or even just build on it, is that the first time they come through a difficulty in life, they might sell that property. They might give it away. They might not do the repairs or the upkeep that property needs that's giving them that paycheck every single month, and they might lose sight of that. So if you don't educate them, it is very likely that generational wealth is going to end on that generation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and touching up on educating not only yourself but your kids as well. A lot of times when people start investing, they don't understand in regards to the different outcomes of what you could potentially do with that property. A lot of people think that you just buy and hold it. So how can I ensure that my real estate investments will provide a long-term source of income for future generations there?
I think we've touched on this earlier, is working with the right professionals. An example of something I think, purchasing your first property, if you purchase a duplex or a triplex, something like that is going to considered house hacking. You can have that income coming in to pay for that mortgage and then work towards the next one. Working with the right professional, let's say you have a portfolio of 8 properties and the market's gone up substantially, right? And you, considering what happened the last couple of years, and then your real estate professional tells you, hey, I think it's a good idea that we should liquidate 2 of these properties and buy an apartment building. Having trusted people in your circle that you, when they call you and say, hey, I think it's a good idea for you to do this, that you're believing what they're saying is the truth. They're not just trying to make a sale. Because our goal here is for our clients to keep their properties, not for us to go in there and say, hey, let's make a sale. We want you to keep your properties. We want you to buy more properties so that your goal, your end goal is, getting your, to your, what is it called? And your net, what is it?
Your
Net worth.
Net worth, getting your net worth up there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it has a lot to do with understanding that real estate runs in cycles as well as the economy. And once you have property, you want to buy it at the right time. And also, if you have the chance to, liquidate it at the same time, because that money is not just going to sit on the bank. Let's say you bought it for 100 and you are able to sell it for 200,000. Now you have $100,000 that you never had before that you could possibly use to invest into 1, 2, or 3 properties, like Angela said, possibly even an apartment building. And that's really where you start seeing your net worth duplicate, triplicate over the course of time. Now, one other thing that I do want us to touch base on is making sure that we take care of our properties. That's how we protect them, and that's how we make sure that they keep their value. When we find deals, a lot of these deals are properties that are in bad shape. And the reason they're in bad shape is because at one point during that line of ownership, somebody stopped taking care of that property. You don't want to be the one giving away your property because of that.
Awesome. And it basically comes down to strategy, right?
Yeah.
Never laying your eggs in one basket when it comes to real estate investing. So with that being said, how does real estate investing fit into a broader portfolio in regards to overall wealth management and also strategizing around that?
I think that it depends on what your end goal is. If you actually don't want to work on those properties, you just want to hold them, build generational wealth, and let that be the back end. Let's say you have another business running, then definitely getting the right team, of real estate agents, property managers, and lenders to help you manage your portfolio so that you can focus on whatever you want to focus. Now, if real estate is going to be your main source of income and also your main intention at that point, it's going to look a lot different, right?
Right, absolutely. I have clients myself that their job is basically taking care of their properties. So they're the ones calling the contractors, the plumbers, getting the phone call when something goes awry, and just like Gerardo said earlier, making sure those properties are taken care of, because sooner or later, those tenants are going to move out, and then you have to move another tenant in. So if you've taken care of that property, the flip to the next tenant will be easier.
Awesome. And one last question after all this insightful information: how can we stay up to date on the latest market trends and regulations affecting real estate investing? As we all know, it's cyclical, so how can we stay up to date with that, and how can we prepare for the next cycle?
I would say make a real estate agent your best friend. We are in the market every single day. We know what's happening. We also, based on our experience, kind of develop a gut feeling of like, okay, I think the market is downshifting. And guess what? A week later, we see the news. We see the articles come out.
Mind you, they do say the
yeah.
sky is falling. It's not falling.
True,
But
true.
they do exaggerate.
But the good thing is that if you have somebody that has a pulse on the market, they'll be able to advise you and give you a tip a lot faster than just waiting to see it on the news. And like you said, Angela, the news is sometimes overstated too. So
Yeah.
it might be that the news is saying one thing when in reality something else is happening.
Yeah, and if you could do us, all 3 of us, a huge favor, don't go ask your cousin or your uncle or something like that and say, hey,
Your
you bought a
landscaper.
house 20 years ago. What do you think is going to happen in real estate? Honestly, we make a joke, but this is real life. This actually happens to us. Gerardo said, make a realtor or make a lender your best friend. We live, eat, and breathe this. We are in meetings daily. We are in finding out what the market trends are. We're knowing what the interest rates are. We call him for the interest rates. But we know what's going on in the real estate market because this is our entire life. Now, I wouldn't be able to go and walk into your job and be like, okay, let me do this job today perfectly without having that background like you have. So working with professionals, as we've been reiterating over and over again, is key to making sure you're building your portfolio correctly and
minimizing your losses.
Exactly.
Because we do have to accept that as real estate is an investment, every investment comes with risk. So there are chances that you could lose money. Now, being in pulse with the market and getting advice from the trusted professionals in your circle that you build on is going to help you minimize those losses if you ever do come across them.
Awesome. So all these answers were very insightful. So right before we wrap it up and go into the live questions, where can we find you guys in case we want to stay connected?
So my information is going to be down below in one of the comments. I go by Sanchez Mortgages on Instagram. My email is gsh@sanchezmortgages.org. And my phone number is going to be down below. Feel free to text me, call me, or set up a meeting. I would love to meet anybody who's interested in real estate and get you started.
And don't be afraid to reach out to us just to ask a question. That's what we're here for. We enjoy talking to people. We're not just going to be like, okay, buy a house now just because you reach out. Our goal is to help educate, not only just sell homes. My information will also be below. And another link that will be below will be our Facebook group. We'll be adding information to that group all the time, especially upcoming new webinars where we'll be inviting people in to help talk about more tax advice, how to put your properties into a trust, things like that. So if you're interested in learning more, just make sure you're following us in our Facebook group.
Awesome. And then, like I mentioned, my name's Ariel Sanchez. You can find me on Instagram, Ariel Sanchez, first and last name with an X in the middle, 206-618-2244, and for an email, ariel@acumengroup.re. So all that information will be down below.
And I also want to say that if you are not in Washington, let's say you're in Oregon, Hawaii, I don't know, Puerto Rico.
Invite us if you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, definitely. We're able to connect you with trusted professionals that are not first time, that have experience, that are crushing it out there, that will get you the results that you want to see in your life and in your real estate journey.
Awesome. So now if we all done with the questions here, we can go on to the live questions. And the first one would be, how do I become pre-approved?
So that's extremely easy. Now, getting pre-approved is a lot of homework on your end and a lot of preparation. But once you arrive, it is extremely easy to get pre-approved. The first thing you need to do, though, is you need to book a call with either Ariel, Angela, or myself so that we can start talking about your case. Every case is different, just like every house out there is a little different. And we're going to make sure that we listen to what you're trying to achieve as a goal and see what you have available to you right now, whether that's credit, income, assets, and see how we can put that all together and get you that house or get you that first investment, depending on what you're looking to do. So just getting a hold of us and signing up for a meeting is the first thing you need to do.
Absolutely. And if you have issues right now, credit issues or maybe low savings or something along those lines, it's still okay to reach out and find out, okay, what is my first step? I've talked to many people who are like, oh, I had X, Y, and Z happen last year. Great. Well, Gerardo would be the one to talk to because he can look at maybe your credit report and kind of give you a map of how to get to your next step. We can answer like the minimal questions regarding like getting you to mortgage, but once it gets into the nitty gritty, we'll push you over to Gerardo because we don't want to get in trouble.
That's why you have a trusted lender with us to get you through.
Well, and this is the big thing too. A lot of people are afraid to talk with me, and all I gotta say,
he's really nice, I promise.
Super nice. I'm not gonna scold you, but I'm really here to help you and get you on that track to get you there. There's a lot of people that come to me and they're like, I had no idea I could even be approved, or they start the conversation with this like, hey, I don't want to waste your time. but XXX, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we get through those X's, at the end of the day, they might be a month out from getting pre-approved, or they might already be even ready to go, and they didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine if they went for a whole year thinking that, right? They would miss out on a lot of nice property out there, especially right now. It's a buyer's market right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For
Awesome.
sure.
And then also keep in mind, guys, a lot of our followers are from the Latino community. If you didn't know this, 41% of the Latino community in the United States are mortgage ready when it comes to getting pre-approved. So if you didn't know that, that's definitely a huge insight for people who have questions if they're able to even be pre-approved. So if you've had questions about that, then go ahead, consult with a lender, especially like Gerardo, and try to see if you can get pre-approved. If not, we'll create a pathway for you as well.
Exactly. Our network is huge, so we know people that can help you with your credit, fixing it, budgeting, all that other jazz. So just know that if you can't do it right now, it doesn't mean no forever. It just means no right now.
Yeah.
And we'll still be here with you to help you get you to your end goal, which is buying a home.
Exactly.
And 41% is 4 out of 10 people, guys. So I
Look
mean,
to your left, look to your right.
Yeah, I mean, in your house, how many people live there? You know, one of them is probably mortgage ready.
Awesome, man. So a lot of people also think that you need 20% down in order to be able to purchase a property. How much money is exactly needed for the down payment, actually?
So exactly needed, it's going to depend on each individual person, their credit score, and what they're trying to buy, right? But it can be as low as $0, especially in
He
this
is not
market right
joking,
now.
as low as $0.
Yeah, so, you know, we're in the state of Washington. We have the down payment assistance available for first-time home buyers. And being a buyer's market and these guys being amazing negotiators, they can get the closing costs paid on that home for you, and Washington State pay the down payment. So at the end of the day, all you have to do is just, you know, pay an inspection, and if you don't even do that, then you can literally just move in with $0 to your name. So, you know, it's just going to depend. Of course, it also depends on what, you know, payment you want, what, you know, terms you're looking to get in your mortgage, and that's going to determine how much money you want to put into the property. But if we're asking how little, it could be 0.
Actually, I have a question, not to interrupt the questions online, but how hard is it to buy, if I wanted to buy a triplex in my first property, how hard? Is it harder to buy that than a single-family home?
Actually, it's easier. A lot of people are able to buy a first home, but they have to go based on only their income, only their savings, and usually, you know, with prices here in Washington State being a little bit higher, that can be difficult, especially if you're only making $50,000 a year, right? When you buy a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, there's a guideline that allows us to use the projected rental income on those properties to help you qualify for that mortgage payment. So even though it might be more expensive to buy those properties, we are allowing you to count that future rental income as part of the qualification process. So it could be that with, you know, $14,000, you buy a $550,000 property and not even earning that much money, because we're going to be using the projected rental income to help you qualify.
How long do you have to live in that home, the multiplex or the property?
You could live in there forever, but you know, let's say you wanted to go buy you know, another house afterward. Let's say, you know, you move in, you're single, you're, you know, using just one unit, but then you get a girlfriend, you get married, you build a family, you have 3 kids. It's been a year, right? And you want to go buy another
Damn,
property.
quick.
Yeah.
In a year.
Yeah, a year. Yeah.
3 kids. Triplets.
Okay, and then we have one last question there before we wrap things up. So what is the minimum credit score needed in order to get pre-approved?
So again, it depends on what program we're trying to qualify you based on. But with FHA, you could qualify with as little of a credit score as 580 points. Now, when you come to me and you have a 580, I will get you a pre-approval and I will work with you. But I'm not just a bank that's like, okay, here's your pre-approval, good luck, see you later, right? No, we want to make sure that we get you in a good economic space and financial picture. So what I'm going to do is, when your credit comes in, I'm not just going to tell you your credit score, I'm also going to tell you what you need to do to get it up there so that you can, at the end of the day, get the best financial terms on your mortgage.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that wraps everything up. Appreciate everybody joining us. Like I mentioned, we are the Generational Wealth Group. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Even if it's the smallest question, don't be scared. It's better to get started off by having your questions answered. That way you can be prepared for the final results, which is the end goal of purchasing a home. So feel free to contact us. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
And
guys.
don't forget to join our Facebook group so
Yes.
you could be in instant communication. One of us will answer right away. Bye.